Hey up guys, what's going on and welcome back to Tenerife, and the good news is if you watched the last episode we found our shooting boots again. The goals have been flying in once more, and now I've said that, let's hope I've not jinxed ourselves into repeating the last episode. What I love is if I put it on the full schedule with most of the games visible, it really stands out the fact that the two games I brought you last time were the 0-0s. You look at the number of goals in all the other games pretty much. How I managed to negotiate that either side of a 4-1 as well, even if we did lose it, either side of a 4-1. My luck sometimes is genuinely baffling. But we did follow up the 0-0 with Zaragoza with a 1-1 penalty loss against Valladolid. Should have won it, actually. Quite significantly XG'd in the end on that one. Both the fullbacks missing penalties along with Varda in the first one, but both the fullbacks really the key penalty misses. But back in the league we've had some success against admittedly bottom half sides. We're in a nice little stretch of bottom half teams. Albacete dealt with 3-1 and then 4 clean sheets in a row. 5-0 against Leganes, 2-0 against Malaga, 6 against bottom team Alcazon, and 2-0 against Sabadell, who are second from bottom. There's also a new name in there in terms of the scoring. It's not a new name as such. He is the exciting prospect, the hot prospect for the side. I've just promoted him to the first side because there have been some transfer dealings. Firstly, Manu Appa went out on loan for some money, along with a monthly fee actually. Hoslu was sold for 200 and something thousand, 215. Like decent player, but he's 30 now and he's gone to be a squad player at a Serie B side, and that says everything about it. I've got the comparison on here. You can see he was fifth in that left-hand side role, which, you know, fair enough, better than some of the other players, but at the same time, as a striker, way down the list. Amaro dos Santos, a name I have surprising amount of trouble trying to say. I look at the technicals, actually, 15, 14, 13 in the key, actual, normal, solid, regular central defender attributes. Not terrible. But he was out on loan for the first half of the season, and he is our 7th best central defender. We came back in, and I immediately sold him straight on again to Venezia. He's 31 too, so not getting any younger. I also cancelled Ramon Folk's loan because we were paying them $4,000 or something silly for a 6th choice midfielder, with the acquisition of Oriol Busquets on loan as well. We actually are paying wages for this guy, but at the same time, he's really good. On loan from Barcelona, for some reason not free from Barcelona. I guess they only let the players go for free that they actually want to let go for free. That was a big game, consistent, a decent player for most first division sides, and he's come on loan to us. Weirdly, Sutalo and Barrow still better than Busquets in terms of the overall list. Espanyol still odds-on favourite. Almeria joined them as odds-on briefly for promotion. I think this is actually not for winning it all. But yeah, more players in the Dream 11 now. As I noticed that Alcazon have actually won a game against Malaga here. Well done them. We are taking on Oviedo now, and then Leganes, who have had a little bit of a resurgence of late. So we'll see how we fare there against a team in form now, it's got to be said. They were rock bottom. Now they're 15th with 34 points. So it's been quite a little run from Leganes of late. And this, of course, is when we have to face Leganes, not when they're struggling. Busquets is good for 75 minutes, so that's good enough for me. The only real problem we've had since the last time I saw you is Sutalo got upset because I was accidentally playing him as a normal central defender rather than a ball-playing defender, which was the agreement. So he got upset at that. So did Gasparini, the Atalanta manager, where he's on loan from. Swapped the ball-playing and central defender roles over, just to accommodate the fact that Sutalo is more right-sided inclined. Neither of them are left-footed, but he can play right-back, so it doesn't make more sense in my head to do it that way around. The line will be Cervantes, Munoz, Wilson, Sutalo, Kakabadze, who is really good, by the way, this season. Just want to highlight him overall. It says average 7.03, but the overall for every single competition appearance he's made, 7.3 almost. Incredible rating from him. A right back as well. You remember the situation we had with full-back ratings? That was fixed, sort of, I think. I'm not sure if it was ever completely fixed, but they were somewhat stabilised with an update. But Busquets in the ball winning, Barrow and Puig there, Shashua, Teixeira and Sturridge up front. Busquets just had an illness briefly, and for some reason, they've got 7 subs. I'm just going to say here, Grippo is a name that I recognise. I'm pretty certain I had him in the very first save on this channel. Don't go check it out, it's awful. Although do, every view counts. As a reminder, like, subscribe, helps the algorithm. I'm pretty certain I had Grippo in that side. Grippo was that quintessential good enough for the championship but got outclassed when we got to the Premier League player, if I remember rightly. He was very much the Edgar equivalent, if you remember the York save, if you follow me from that one. Speaking of Edgar, they've got one, and he's on the ball. Back to Grippo. That's just dissected us, and well done. Straight to the goalkeeper. Cervantes has been in good form, of course. 4 clean sheets in a row. That's not all down to just defensive capabilities and keeping them out of our box. That is down to the goalkeeper too, as he claims that one as well. Cervantes is locked in, of course, now as well. He was one of the players whose contract was up at the end of the year, but we managed to get him on a longer contract and for less wages, which is utterly bizarre. A few players we've got in for just about the same wages. Kakabaz is one of those. But yeah, all the players that I want to keep, particularly beyond the end of the season, have been locked down for longer contracts, as I just make a note of the time and the fact we've had one highlight. Hello, there's a new one. Shashua, Weak now. Nope. Borja Sanchez, back down to Edgar. This is a little confusing. A bit of a kit clash going on as we're half in blue and they're entirely in blue. But Sturridge is through here, not the paciest, so this says everything about their defenders. He's scored. I think the fact their stadium is so blue as well is just really overwhelming my eyes with blue right now. It's hard to work out who's who, but Sturridge clean through here, and maybe that's the problem for their goalkeeper who just fell over as Sturridge approached him. So again, not the most gripping of games, even if it does feature someone with that name, basically. I'm just curious. I feel like he was Swiss or something. He is Swiss. I'm not going crazy. Still a decent player. Not fast, though. It's weird how certain players get stuck in your head. Players that you wouldn't really ever know otherwise if it wasn't for Football Manager. They just become ingrained in your head as statistics, basically. And Grippo's one of them, apparently. Sangali, Leshuk, Grippo now, Mosso on this left-hand side. Out to the right-hand side, Juanjo, Edgar, Tejera, Borja Valle again. It's only 1-0. This is dangerous. Mossa on this left-hand side again. Edgar on the edge of the box. Borja Sanchez falls over about 6 feet away from any of my players, and apparently that's the foul. Somewhat confused. Was there a push? Because that looked really weird. Penalty has been awarded. He was held back, apparently, despite the fact he leapt forward 6 yards and then fell over. Totaro got booked for that as well. But Cervantes makes the save. I told you he was in form. Mossa smashes over the resulting chance. I don't want to watch that again. It obviously wasn't a penalty. But the good news is, for the rest of the season, I now feel like I have the depth in every position I need it for. I've got enough midfielders. I've now cut down the number of wingers dramatically. And with Jorge joining the striking line and getting rid of a couple of the strikers, I feel like I've got enough strikers too. I actually need to show you a goal from Jorge because he played about 3 minutes of one game, and then I brought him on for about half an hour at the end of one of the bigger wins. He scored an absolute worldie. What a way to get your first goal of the year. What a way to get your first goal under a new manager who hadn't realised you existed until about 3 weeks earlier. In a weird way, he's a bit like Valera, who I didn't realise was in the unders until a bit too late. I mean, the penalty obviously is skewing their XG, but it was a relatively even game in the end. Oviedo, away from home, they're about mid-table. That's quite a good win. Although in a string of games that involves a 5-0 and a 6-0, of course I brought you the 1-0. I can't. What is wrong with me? Espanyol have lost. I've just noticed the gap is 9 points. Ponferrada have beaten them. They're in 7th. They're having a good old season. I think the game's broken. This says White lends helping hand to victorious Newcastle, who have lost. I don't know when New Gen Day is, Regen Day, whatever you want to call it, Youth Intake Day, if you want to be neutral in that debate. I don't know when it is. It says it's a reasonable intake. There's a couple of people worth keeping an eye on. We've paid Daniel Sturridge £56,000 for scoring 10 goals, which feels like the bare minimum for a striker. But yeah, our next opponent's Leganes, and you can see the situation here, actually. I don't know, they sacked their manager really early on, actually. It was about week 9, so it's not like it had an early impact on the side, but they were labouring in the relegation spot for a long while. Then since week 19, game week 19, slowly getting wins, lots of wins in this stretch, and they've just beaten Albacete as well to get up to 15th. Like I say, they're in a good little run, and this, of course, is when we have to meet them. I've shared this graph a few times on Twitter. Our aggressive/clinicalness as a squad is ridiculous. I feel like we break the graph a little bit. The dot right now is in the middle of the words aggressive, clinical there. There was a brief moment when it was above the I in aggressive, which was aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, we are by far the most clinical, and we're also the most aggressive too by a decent margin on top of that. I've never really had a side like this in the sense that we're so far off the graph in that way. Sheffield were clinical at times, but were never like the most clinical or the most aggressive. I've never had anything like this, and that's including the dry patch in January you saw last episode, so I can't explain it. Cervantes is on verge of clean sheets milestone as well. 18 clean sheets in 2012 is the record. Is this person still playing? He is indeed. He's still got a Tenerife badge on. He didn't leave that long ago, did he? Nope, that's just a very old picture, clearly. He's still not bad, actually, at 44. I mean, physical's gone, but technical's fine. I'm closing on our new winning run as well, which we came close to at the beginning and then bottled. So one more game gives us a record for consecutive victories. We had 6 in a row early on here. Almeria through to Fuenlabrada, and that triggered the bizarrely rubbish performance against Castellon. So is history about to repeat itself here, is my worry. And you know what terrifies me here, on the verge of breaking a winning run against a team that are in good form, is with 12 games to go, we've got a 9-point lead in this table. It's 10 in terms of being out of automatic promotion. That is prime mega bottle territory. Also, takeover rumours have been on and off for the last couple of months, so that might be interesting. It was, of course, a Tycoon takeover that sent Tenerife on their way in that simulation I've mentioned before in this series so far. I'm not expecting a Tycoon takeover, but it would be hilarious if it did happen. Both centre-backs on yellow card warnings is awkward, but no one is on a heavy match load at the moment. All the games have started to spread themselves out again once more, which is always nice. Teixeira's down to 2.5 stars. What's going on here? Not sure what's happening with Teixeira there. Valera's not usurped him yet either, so it's not that. Varda is on the list for playing over there. Now, he is right-footed though. But I see no reason to change the first 11. Brandon Thomas. Why do I recognise the name Brandon Thomas? Nice team talk. So yeah, we line up, of course, 4-3-2-1, as we always do. 5 wins in a row, 6 wins in a row under our belts. Up against a side who I can't read the names off because black on black. But never mind. 6 points clear with this game to play. Why am I so nervous for a home match against a team in 15th? Shashua, Romario, Busquets gives it to Puig. We are 1 minute in. Sturridge hits the post. Oh, don't be setting the tone for this game with that, please. Oh no. Why is this so nerve-wracking all of a sudden? I just noticed there was a huge game at the very bottom. Sabadell played Alcathon and smashed them 4-1. Don't know what that's done to the table. Sabadell overtake them again. I don't think either of those two sides are in a position to stay up. Easily, anyway. It'd be a miracle if either of them do. Wilson roams forward a little bit. He's not the ball player, though. Romario. Get back, Bruno. Romario. Kakabadze. Romario again. I've toyed with swapping Romario to Mazzala as he assists Ricky Puig for his first goal in Tenerife colours. It wouldn't be a bad signing as to get back on loan next year. Kakabadze's had a knock, but he's not appeared as an actual injured button. So I think we'll be all right there for the time being. As Ricky puts that one in. We're 20 minutes in. It's 1-0 to us. I do quite like Leganes' kit, actually. I'm a big fan of black with green. Same as I am with black and orange and things like that. Just black kits in general, really. Sturridge taking this free... Sturridge is our free kick taker. I mean, he's put it in. I'm not going to argue with it. Like I said, it was surprised that he was taking the free kick initially, and then he's popped it in. So, all right. Fair enough then. Quellar doesn't do amazingly well to keep that one out. But it was a very, very good free kick from Daniel Sturridge. Half-time 2-0 and nerves somewhat abated at this stage. XG of 1. They've had no shots on target. Saying all this, this is prime. I'm delighted. But this is prime bottle territory. I feel like they've had no shots on target. They've had 2 shots in total. This is very much set up for like a penalty and an own goal situation. You know, one of those absolute horrendous collapses. Busquets will get in the way of that. Teixeira. Back to Kakabadze. Probably pronounced his name horrifically wrong, am I? For Otar's surname there. But Teixeira roams inwards. I mean, he's gone very inside forward there. So inside, he's on the opposite side of the pit. Why was that a highlight? I'll have a quick nosy at Brandon Thomas when I get opportunity to see why I remember his name. But they're on the ball. Actually, he's on the ball right now. That has got to their strikers somehow. And they've got one back. See what I mean? First goal Cervantes has conceded in 6 matches now. How this ball actually ends up at their striker's feet is absolutely ridiculous. He's chip-wedged that to him. The flight of that ball is ridiculous to land directly at their striker's feet. To land that way, that well, with that angle, at that speed, for him to control it and just pop it in. Phenomenal assist, really. Sturridge with another free kick, and I'm now expecting this to go in. What a difference 45 minutes makes. I don't know what our player is doing, just wandering in front of their... He has put it in. Unbelievable from Daniel Sturridge there. This player here, by the way, Sutalo, just running in front of their wall backwards and forwards. Absolute top-notch annoyance there from him. Nice, so we'll get more on for retiring Cacabanti. Busquets is booked, so Aitor Sands on there. I'm just going to preempt the Romario Barrow one as well by bringing on Zalfino. Sashiwa might as well come off as well for good measure. It's 3-0. 4 changes, why not? Let's just kill this game off. 3 changes normally kills the game off when you've only got 3 subs, so God knows what 4 will do. Teixeira plays it short to Zalfino, and that's a nice little ball. Although he hasn't really made it. Zalfino, mate, the whole point of that is just for you to smash it in. Freak there on this left-hand side, puts the ball nowhere near anyone, in particular, and goes to Arezzo. Back to Perez. Aguaras, Arezzo. Out to Arnaiz. Perez again. Arezzo. Great ball through to Juan Munoz here as if he's onside. Nope. We're focusing on the ref who was about 3 miles away. The linesman's here as well. He wasn't even in the right place either. He was so offside we didn't even get to see the decision. Might as well bring Teixeira off at this point as well. German Valera. I didn't show you the Jorge goal. I'll show you at the very end here. Considering I haven't played Jorge in either of these 2 matches, I feel a little bit bad for him now. I bigged him up and now you've not seen anything of him, so I'll show you that goal immediately after this ends. 3-1, and we do break the record. 7 wins in a row. And the way this match was set up with everything that could have gone wrong, I'm very pleased with that. Aren't we supposed to have been the bigger team today? You would never have guessed it based on that. No, we're not, actually. We're predicted mid-table, they're predicted top 6. They're just having a horrible season, and we're having a very good season. Pat Fortune, which is a great name. Tenerife was scintillating. First things first, and the reason why I didn't bring you this at the beginning is because obviously it spoiled signing of Busquets. Well, Jorge came on with about 25 minutes to go, because Sturridge was on a 6.3. It wasn't actually one of the dominant wins. It was because Sturridge was on a 6.3. I brought him on quite early. Reasonably early, anyway. And, well, the 19-year-old pulls out this. A lot of it got to go to the assist, but good lord. So Jorge is firmly within my plans now for the future. I'll just bring him up in total. Potential ability of 5 stars, maybe, but it is the arrow that says potential to be a first division striker that has my attention. There's a few players with potential, but not very many of them have the actual pro of potential in their locker. So keep an eye on him. 14 finishing, 11 composure, and the passing work rate is kind of what lets him down as an overall player, but decent attributes in the actual striking technicals, good physicals, reasonable mentals as well on top of that. So 19 years old, and if he's got the potential that it says he has, susceptible to injuries is my concern. We'll keep an eye on this player. So the plan for the next episode will be the final game of this particular season, the final episode of this particular season, where I'll bring you the 2 games with a 9-point lead, unless it goes horribly wrong, of course. That might not be, those last 2 games might not be the last 2 games of the actual season. I will aim to bring you the game in which we can win the title theoretically, if games go in our favour, the other results go in our favour, and then the match that follows if the results indeed don't go in our favour, where we could win it for certain. So that'll be the aim. Don't know when those 2 matches will be, of course, so it would be a surprise to you, the opponents, as they are. So it's lining up to be Espanyol, I've just noticed, 4 games from the end, if everything stays as it is. Of course it is. But I'll see you for the final episode of this first season with Tenerife. What a season it's been, regardless of what happens over the next few games. But until then, thank you for watching. Ta-ra.